My stepson started treating me with contempt out of nowhere. "You don't get to tell me what to do," he'd snap. I thought it was just teenage angst, until I overheard him tell his friend, "My real dad's back. Mom says he's moving in soon." I confronted my wife that night. She said, "I didn't think you'd find out this way." I packed my things in silence. 3 weeks later, the real dad got served with papers, and my stepson? He moved in with me. I'm not the type to overshare. I'm not looking for sympathy or advice. I just need to get this off my chest because if I don't, I'm going to explode. My name's Pete. I'm 42 and live in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. I married Susan 10 years ago. We met at a work barbecue. She worked in the same office building as me, different floor, different company. She was charming, confident, had a son, Tyler. He was 8 when we met. Susan told me her ex, Rick, had taken off when Tyler was a toddler. Not a birthday card, not a phone call. Gone. Vanished. She said Tyler didn't remember him. At first, I hesitated to date someone with a kid. I was single, had my own place, my own routine. But Susan made it easy. And Tyler? He was shy at first, but we clicked. Over time, he started calling me Dad. It felt right. I didn't push it. I just showed up, school drop-offs, soccer games, scraped knees, nightmares. I was there. When Susan and I got married, I didn't legally adopt Tyler, but we talked about it. She said we'd wait until he was a little older, make sure it felt right for everyone. I agreed. No rush. I was already doing everything a father does. Things were good for years. Then, about 10 months ago, something changed. Tyler started getting distant. He was 15, almost 16, and I expected some of it. Teenagers go through stuff. Hormones. Girls. Friends. I gave him space, but I didn't pull away. I still showed up. But the distance got colder. Sharper. He started ignoring me. When I'd ask him something simple, like, "Can you help bring in the groceries?" he'd roll his eyes. He started muttering stuff under his breath. Disrespect I hadn't seen before. Then came the attitude. "You don't get to tell me what to do," he snapped one day. I just stood there, frozen. I wasn't yelling at him. I wasn't grounding him or being harsh. I just asked him to take the trash out. I looked at Susan, expecting her to say something. Instead, she looked at her phone like she didn't hear it. I brought it up later. She brushed it off. "He's growing up. It's not about you." But it felt like it was about me. A couple weeks passed, and things got worse. Tyler barely looked at me. He'd mumble hi when I came home and then disappear to his room. At dinner, he'd sit with one earbud in, chewing like he couldn't wait to get up. One night, I walked in from work early. Earlier than usual. I'd had a rough day, and I was thinking maybe I'd take Tyler out for dinner, try to connect. I came in through the garage. Quiet. Nobody heard me. I walked past the hallway and heard Tyler talking upstairs with his friend Sam. I paused. Something in his voice made me stop. "My real dad's back," Tyler said. I stopped walking. "Mom says he's moving in soon." Sam said something, but I didn't catch it. My brain was spinning. "Yeah," Tyler added. "She said she's telling Pete next week." "I don't care. He's not my real dad anyway." I just stood there. You ever have that moment where you feel your whole chest cave in? Like your lungs are there, but they're not working? I went into the kitchen. Susan was there. She had a glass in her hand, filling it with water. I said, "Is Rick moving in?" She didn't even flinch. She just said, "I didn't think you'd find out this way." Like it was nothing. Like she forgot to tell me we were out of milk. I didn't yell. I didn't throw anything. I walked upstairs, packed a bag. I came back down, set my house key on the counter, and walked out. She didn't stop me. She didn't even look at me. I stayed in a motel for a few nights. Then I rented a small 2-bedroom in a quieter part of town. I didn't talk to Susan. Didn't text Tyler. But I wasn't done. I dug into every record I had. Emails. Medical bills. Receipts. Credit card statements. For 10 years, I'd paid for Tyler's everything. School supplies. Braces. Sports fees. Doctor's visits. Summer camps. I went to a lawyer. Told him I'd been the one footing the bill for a kid whose biological dad hadn't paid a dime. The lawyer was good. Real good. We filed for civil reimbursement against Rick. See, even if I wasn't the legal dad, Pennsylvania law allowed for third-party reimbursement in certain situations. I had the proof. Rick had the money now. He worked construction and had just inherited some cash from his mother. The papers hit him like a brick. He called Susan, screaming. She tried to reach me. Left messages. Can we talk? This isn't fair to Tyler. I didn't respond. I wasn't done. 3 weeks after I filed the suit, I got a knock on my apartment door. It was Tyler. He had a backpack and a look I hadn't seen in a long time. Not anger. Not attitude. Just lost. He said, "Can I stay here?" That was all. No apology. No story. I didn't ask for one. I opened the door and let him in. We've got a lot to work through. He's got to unlearn some of the lies he was told. And I've got to figure out what kind of father I want to be to a kid who called another man real dad. But we're here. And Rick? He's thousands in debt now. Court-ordered payments every month. Susan? She's alone, dealing with a kid who chose the man she threw away. This isn't over yet. Tyler didn't say much those first few days. He mostly stayed in the second bedroom, scrolling on his phone or doing homework. I gave him space. I cooked dinner like I always used to. I left the door cracked when I went to sleep, like I used to when he had nightmares as a kid. The third night he finally spoke. I thought he changed, he said out of nowhere, fork still in hand. Rick. I mean my dad. I didn't say anything. Just looked at him. He said he missed me. Said he was ready to be there. Mom said it was time I had my real father back. He pushed the food around on his plate. But he didn't even last 2 weeks. That got my attention. What happened? He shrugged. First it was him sleeping in. Then missing my parent-teacher night. Then yelling at Mom for no reason. She started drinking more again. He paused. He hit a wall. Left a dent. Cops almost got called. My stomach twisted. You okay? He nodded slowly. He called me a spoiled brat. Said I was just like her. That he was done trying. I felt like I'd been punched, but I kept my voice steady. I'm sorry. Tyler looked at me, eyes red. I believed them. I thought I was replacing something fake with something real. But he didn't care about me. He just wanted back in her life. We didn't talk after that. He went to bed early. But that night, I sat on the couch and stared at the wall, trying to process everything. That's when the first text came from Susan. Susan, we need to talk. Tyler is confused. You're manipulating him. I ignored it. The next day, a call came from the school. Tyler hadn't shown up. I called him, no answer. His phone went straight to voicemail. I checked the apartment. His backpack was gone. My stomach dropped. I drove to Susan's house. Knocked. No answer. I banged harder. I could hear movement inside, so I kept knocking. Finally, the door opened. It was Rick. He smirked like he was doing me a favor. What do you want? Where's Tyler? Not here. I looked past him. Susan was sitting on the couch, eyes glassy. Pete, she said. He's not here. Maybe you should go. I pushed past Rick. He tried to stop me, but I didn't care. I shouted Tyler's name. No answer. Susan stood up, finally getting some life in her. He left this morning. Said he had to think. Think where? She didn't know. I checked everywhere. The park. His old school. The library. Even the mall. I didn't sleep that night. Around 5 a.m. I got a call. Unknown number. I picked up. Dead? It was Tyler. He was at a 24-hour diner on the other side of town. He said he'd taken a bus and spent the night there with his laptop and 5 refills of coffee. He sounded shaken, but calm. I picked him up. On the drive back, he said, I saw Rick grab Mom by the arm. That's why I left. I don't think he's done with her. I gripped the wheel tight. She let him back in again? She's scared of being alone. That line stuck with me. Because it wasn't just about her, it was what Rick used. It's what Tyler felt. Maybe even what I'd felt, once. I went to the courthouse later that week. Filed for temporary custody. My lawyer said since I had been the primary provider for over a decade, I had a case. Susan tried to fight it. But the bruises on her arm, the school counselor's notes about Tyler's changes, and Rick's record, all of it worked against her. She lost. Temporary custody became permanent within 4 months. Rick disappeared again. I heard he skipped town to avoid the rest of the payments. He's got a warrant now. Good riddance. Susan's alone in that big house now. And Tyler? He's slowly coming back to himself. But just when I thought it was over, something else came in the mail. A letter from Susan's lawyer. She's suing me for emotional distress. I laughed at first. Thought it was a joke. But the papers were real. Apparently, she's blaming me for turning Tyler against her, and for deliberate interference in her household. But I've got plans of my own. Because I'm not done yet. I sat across from my lawyer, Dale, flipping through the documents Susan had filed. Emotional distress, I said, shaking my head. She's kidding, right? Dale didn't laugh. She's not. She's desperate. Probably broke too. That house is a money pit, and if Rick skipped town, she's footing all the bills. And she thinks suing me is going to fix that? She doesn't want to win. She wants to drain you. Run up your legal fees. Maybe make Tyler feel guilty. She's playing long game manipulation. I stared at the paperwork. It was surreal. This woman, who once asked me to be a father to her son, now wanted to drag me through court for the crime of being there when her world fell apart. You want to counter? Dale asked. Not yet, I said. Let her feel like she's got the upper hand. Because I had something she didn't know. I'd been recording conversations. Not to be shady, but when things started getting ugly with Tyler, I started protecting myself. Pennsylvania's a 2-party consent state, but when Susan left voicemails, sent texts, made threats, all that was fair game. And the voicemails? They were gold. One in particular stood out. She was drunk, crying, saying, I told Rick to stop yelling at him, I swear. He just grabbed me, and I didn't mean for Tyler to see it. I handed that over to Dale. If she wants a court fight, I said, I'll give her one. But I had a bigger plan. See, one of Susan's biggest fears was losing her social standing. She liked the PTA meetings, the wine nights, the book clubs where nobody actually read. She loved the image she built in that neighborhood. I started telling the truth. Not to be vindictive. Just honest. I talked to a few of the neighbors, people I used to chat with at the mailbox. When they asked why I moved out, I told them. I told them about the man who came back after 15 years, got violent in front of a child, and then vanished again. I told them about Susan's drinking, the late-night fights, the bruises she never explained. Word spread. One day, I drove Tyler past the old house. There was a "for sale" sign on the lawn. She was bailing. But she wasn't done with me. She filed another motion, this time accusing me of slander. Dale laughed when he read it. She doesn't even know what the word means. But it didn't stop there. One night, around 9 p.m., I heard knocking on my door. Loud. Repetitive. I opened it. It was Susan. Eyes bloodshot. Hair a mess. Clothes wrinkled like she'd been sleeping in her car. Tyler stepped into the hallway. He froze when he saw her. I need to talk to him, she said, pointing past me. I'm his mother. He doesn't want to talk to you right now, I said. You need to go. You turned him against me, she hissed. You and your lies. Tyler walked forward, standing beside me. You did that yourself, he said. I don't hate you. But I can't trust you. She broke down. Started crying. Right there on my front step. And for a second, I almost felt sorry for her. Then she looked up and said, You're just like your father. Cold. Punishing. That's when I closed the door. Tyler stood there for a while, silent. She doesn't even see it, he whispered. None of it. We didn't talk the rest of the night. But I knew this wasn't over. Because Susan wasn't the only one holding secrets. A few days later, Tyler was going through old stuff in the storage unit I rented. He found a shoebox, tucked under a stack of his childhood toys. Inside were old letters. Ones Rick had sent Susan. Dozens of them. Dated over the last 5 years. She'd been in touch with him a lot longer than she claimed. And in one letter, Rick wrote something chilling. Once we're back in that house, I want him gone. I don't care how. I want my family back the way it was. Tyler showed me the letter, hands shaking. It hit us both at once. Susan didn't just let Rick back into our lives. She planned it. Finding that letter changed everything. Tyler didn't say much at first. He just stared at the paper like it would catch fire in his hands. I took it from him, read it again, and felt something shift inside me. I'd spent months trying to piece together what went wrong. Now I knew. Susan didn't just cheat. She didn't just lie. She tried to erase me. And she almost succeeded. I called Dale the next morning. I want to press charges, I said. Endangerment. Conspiracy. Fraud. Whatever sticks. He told me it would be tough. Family court and criminal court are different beasts. But with enough evidence, her letting Rick back and knowing his violent past, the letter proving intent, we had a shot. I gave him everything. The texts. The voicemails. Tyler gave a written statement. We brought the letter. We were ready. And when the court date came, Susan walked in looking like a ghost of the woman I used to know. Hair pulled back tight, hollow eyes, nervous glances. She knew. Rick never showed. Warrant was still active. Word was he was down in Florida, hiding out. Classic. We laid everything out. The judge didn't say much. Just nodded along, eyes scanning documents, listening. At one point, Tyler asked if he could speak. The judge allowed it. He stood up, voice shaking but steady enough. She didn't just let him back in, he said. She let him hurt her. She let him scare me. And she told me to lie to the man who raised me. Silence. You could hear people breathing. When the judge finally spoke, it was like ice. He ruled that Susan was unfit for guardianship, full stop. No visitation without court approval. No unsupervised contact. She was fined for court costs and hit with a civil negligence finding. It wasn't jail time, but it stuck to her record. When we walked out, Susan tried to speak to Tyler. Please, she said, reaching out. I just wanted our family back. He didn't even look at her. We kept walking. A few weeks later, I got a letter from her. No return address. I didn't open it. Burned it in the sink. She tried calling after that. Blocked her. Then the final blow came. I sued for retroactive damages for the time I supported Tyler without being legally obligated. I had already won against Rick. But now, with the letters and court findings, I had a new case. And I won. She had to sell the house. Not just to cover the payout, but because no bank would refinance her with her record. Last I heard, she moved in with her sister in York, working part-time at a grocery store. The PTA meetings, the wine clubs, the suburban queen routine? Gone. Me? I'm still in that two-bedroom apartment, but I'm saving to buy a place with Tyler. He's doing better. Still goes to therapy. Still has hard days. But he laughs now. He talks. He calls me Dad again. And me? I made mistakes too. I trusted too easy. I didn't push back when the signs were there. I let myself be quiet for too long. But I'm not quiet anymore. When Tyler graduates, I'll be in the front row. And the only real dad he'll ever need? He's already living with him. The one who stayed.